Hey, how's it going? My name is Luke, and welcome to the very first ever episode of Midnight Quest. Now, tonight we are going to be embarking on a long adventure that takes place in a heavily modified version of the world of the board game HeroQuest. Now, HeroQuest is a board game that was created by Stephen Baker for Milton Bradley way back in 1989. And then a little bit more recently, it was bought by Hasbro, remade by Avalon Hill, and is currently available all over the place. This is crazy, honestly, that you can go into stores and find HeroQuest on the shelves. Now, this is a game that was introduced to me by my dad when I was a kid, and I grew up playing the Milton Bradley version, and that Avalon Hill remake has really reignited the spark to play that. So here we are, we're going to get started playing that today. Now we're going to be playing a long campaign that I've written. So this book right here is made up of our entire first campaign worth of quest. This is broken up into about 14 books, which are like maybe 9 to 12 quests, generally speaking, a piece. And we're going to be playing through all of that. Not tonight, but over a long period of time. Tonight we're going to hopefully get into just the first quest. Now, included in that are all of the quest packs and quest books that were created by Milton Bradley in the early 90s. Also included in that are 3 of the Avalon Hill exclusive packs, which were first made available in the Mythic tier. And also to just kind of like fill in the blanks in the story are a few books that I created from scratch. So I compiled all of that into a linear story that we are going to be following today. Now, let's talk a little bit about lore before we dive into the quest. This game is fairly complicated, and I'm not going to lie to you, I've made it considerably more complicated with a bunch of homebrew rules, which hopefully will just sort of explain over time. I have a bad habit of over-explaining things. I don't want to explain it all right away, but if you do have a question, please don't be afraid to throw it in the chat, and we'll talk about whatever we need to explain until everybody has a good grasp on how the game works. Now, as far as the lore in here, this takes place in a country called Ilenthyr, or at least that's what the elves call it, is Ilenthyr. And in Ilenthyr is a whole bunch of different races of people and also monsters. And the monsters pretty often attack the people, and this is an issue that they may never really be able to get rid of, but they've learned to live with. Now, one of the major powers in the country of Ilenthyr is an empire that is made up of mostly humans, run by a human emperor, and helping that emperor is Wizardmaster Mentor, who's one of the most important wizards who's ever lived, maybe in this entire world. Now, Mentor is the caretaker, I guess you could say, of a magical book called Lore Tome, which we'll learn more about throughout the story. And Mentor has foreseen this grave threat to the realm and put out essentially a desperate plea for help for heroes to come help him overcome this threat. And we are going to be following, at least at first, the 9 heroes that answer this call. Let's take a look at those 9 heroes. Here we go. So we are currently looking at part of the game board, and these red things here are the hero minis. Now, you'll get to take a closer look at each one of these. These are all different classes of heroes that we're going to be starting the game with. I've got their character sheets over here with me so that I can read you their names and not mess them all up. So let's start here. This right here is Paya Solindre, and she is a monk. Oh my gosh, that's so blurry. There, the camera's kind of focusing on it. Now, a quick side note here, you'll notice that this mini is not painted. This channel is actually going to serve a dual purpose. Most nights we are going to be playing the aforementioned quests, but on a couple of nights of the week, Sunday nights and Wednesday nights, you will actually find my wife here on this channel instead of me taking over the streams and painting these miniatures. In fact, this 3D board that you're looking at right here was painted by her. And she's also painted several of the miniatures, but not a bunch. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, you can come hang out with her on Sunday nights and Wednesday nights and watch her paint these and give your input on what they should look like. So we've got Paya the monk. Next, we've got Valirna Balsalor. She is an elf. It's a neat looking miniature there. This is one of the newer Hasbro miniatures that I've actually never used on a quest yet. I'm excited to get into that. Next up, we've got Robert Tylan, and he is a berserker, so they are particularly powerful. They're hard hitters. I wish that camera would focus on that so that's not so blurry. These will also be easier to see once they're painted, but as you can see, he wields a pretty nasty looking axe there. Next we've got Thraken the Bold, and he is a barbarian. As per usual with fantasy lore, he is from frozen Northlands. I'm trying to see if I can get the camera to focus on that. Guess not. Next up, we've got Moonstone the Druid. Now she looks small, but she can definitely pack a punch. She comes with a spell that allows her to transform into a bear-type creature, which is really neat. She's a very useful hero. Next is Honora Whitlen. She is a wizard here. Obviously access to lots of fancy magic spells that we're going to be seeing in use pretty often. We also have Tiaga the Warlock. That is her right here. Another kind of short... Oh, maybe it's something to do with my hands that gets the camera to focus for a second. She also has a transforming spell that allows her to become a huge demon, which is pretty neat. We have here Hogard Redmantle, the dwarf. Yeah, there's something to do with my hand that gets that to focus for a second. Another really neat mini that I have yet to use in a quest. And finally, we have, some of you won't be surprised by this, Gramina, the Dwarven Explorer. Now, like I said, I've grown up playing this game. I've played this game so much. And several years ago now, myself and my wife and my brother started a campaign in the Milton Bradley Hero Quest where we had a dwarf named Gramina that was just the source of so many in-jokes. So it just felt right to canonize her as a character in this too. It'll be very interesting to see how that character gets along. But lots of interesting things hopefully going to happen. Okay, let's get into the actual introduction of the story for this so you guys can hear a little bit about what's happening, and then we'll get to dive into the first quest. Let me start us up some background music here. There we go, hopefully that's working. Another small aside here. All of the music that you hear, including the theme song, and all of the music that's in the background is music that I've been involved in writing and producing and recording. So this is all not custom to this, although that is a goal eventually, is to have a completely, fully custom soundtrack. Now the intro is custom. Everything that you're hearing right now is from a band that I'm in called Afterwinter, and you'll also hear some songs that are just entirely me, but interesting stuff there. Here is our introduction to the entire series. Heed well my words, for I am Mentor, guardian of Lortome. I will tell you of times past, of darker days when the Empire was saved against all hope, for I fear the darkness is about to return. The sinister forces of the evil sorcerer Zargon had swept all before them. At the sight of the Black Banner and massed hordes of chaos and dread, even the bravest warriors of the Emperor had fled. The land was laid to waste, and all men despaired. Then came a mighty warrior from the north, Rogar the Barbarian. He bore a glittering diamond on his brow, the Star of the West, an artifact worn by the ancient kings and thought lost. Hope returned, and men flocked to his standard, leaving their hiding places in the hills and forests. Other great heroes joined him, Durgan, the fearless dwarven warrior from the World's Edge Mountains, Ladril, the elven fighter from Athelorn, the Elven Kingdom, and Telor the wizard, whose sorcery was to save Rogar on many occasions. For many years, Rogar trained his army, being careful to avoid open battle with Zargon's masses until all was ready. He ever harried the enemy supply lines and wiped out countless orcs and goblins. Then came the day for which Rogar had waited. His army had grown strong and was well practiced. Camping in the high passes, Ladril saw the black hosts from afar and bade Durgan blow the call to arms on his mighty horn. Rogar's army poured down upon the enemy from two sides, and battle was joined. Many foul creatures and good men perished that day. Yet, as the light of day faded, it was darkness that fled the field. But victory was not absolute. Zargon escaped beyond the Sea of Claws and disappeared for many years. Recently, scouts report renewed activity in the northern Dread Wastes, and we fear Zargon has returned to threaten us once again. Soon his plot will be ready, and the Empire will have need of mighty warriors once again. Alas, Rogar disappeared many years ago in Barak Tor, the tomb of one of Zargon's most feared generals. None have been brave enough to venture there to see what became of the Empire's once savior. To this end I have gathered you. You have much to learn if you are to become as great as Rogar and his companions. I will help all that I can. The book that I protect, Lore Tome, was written when time began. All that ever was and all that ever will be is recorded in its countless pages. Through Lore Tome I may guide you, but I may not intervene, lest a greater evil befall the world, and the evil forces of chaos and dread triumph forever. Strong words from Mentor. We're going to be getting into our first quest. Now, taking a look back at our heroes down here, we're seeing 9 heroes, the ones that we introduced just now. However, throughout pretty much the entire campaign, each quest will only have 4 heroes entering it. Now, for the most part, we're going to be randomly selecting these. Among all the papers that are hanging up on the wall here behind me, one of these is a random character selector powered by drawing cards, and we are going to do it that way most of the time. However, today, I thought it would be appropriate for us to start the very first quest with the classic Milton Bradley lineup of Elf, Barbarian, Dwarf, and Wizard. Back in 1989, those were the only 4 hero classes we had. So I think we're just going to go ahead and remove everybody except those 4. We'll go ahead and put those guys back here. Whoops. I'm going to grab my table here for character sheets. Make sure that we've got the right character sheets. There's Hogard the Dwarf, Honora the Wizard, Thraken the Barbarian, and Valerna the Elf. Excellent. Now I've got these character sheets here that help me keep track of items that the heroes pick up, what their body points or health are, and also how many dice they throw for things like attack and defense. If you're curious, they look a bit like this. Now this is also something that I created. I essentially adapted this from the much smaller actual HeroQuest character sheets. I do have one of those here too, which I'm going to use just to keep track of gold, but you can see this is a paint-stained character sheet from the original HeroQuest here. And I've just made a much bigger version of that paper to keep track of all of the extra stuff that I added. Now normally right here we'll also be gathering cards that are items that these heroes have, but for the most part we don't need to do that today because this is the first quest and these heroes pretty much don't have anything yet. The only thing that we really need to take care of is spells. Now we have 2 heroes on this team that have spells, and that would be Valerna the Elf and Honora the Wizard. Both of them have access to some spells, so let me move my camera over here to the edge of the desk where we can take a look at how we're doing that. Now the original HeroQuest had some pretty neat spells, but I wanted to shake this up a little bit, so I have here a pretty large deck of those spells from the original HeroQuest, except we've got like, I think 6 sets of the spells. So 6 of each spell in there, and we are going to separate this big pile into 4 smaller piles, and we are going to randomly select the spells that those characters get. Just kind of makes things a little bit more interesting as far as what the characters can and can't do. So this means that they can get doubles of spells, they can get a lot of really useful ones, or they can get like pretty much nothing helpful. And it shakes things up a little bit. Now, one of the big things that I've introduced to this is a skill set leveling system. Again, the original Hero Quest was designed to be a Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing, but much, much easier to comprehend. So I've added some homebrew rules that take it a little closer back to D&D, but still not going overboard. And I'll be honest, I've never played real D&D, which is a little weird, but I do really enjoy the board game aspect of this. So let's get started. We're going to be using a deck of cards to randomly select this. Let's go ahead and select Valerna's spells first. We'll go ahead and put her over here. She only gets 3 spells. Now we're going to draw some regular old cards over here to see what we get. So this right here is going to be pile number 1, card number 3. 1, 2, 3. Her first spell is Rock Skin, and this will help her boost her defense. We won't go into the details of what every spell does right off the bat. Her next spell, pile number 3, card 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is the spell Tempest, which will allow her to kind of temporarily freeze a monster. And her final spell is pile 1, card number 1, which is Veil of Mist. I'll be honest, this is not a spell that I use very often, so this is a little bit of a wasted spell. Ah, yes, looks good so far. Awesome. Thanks for the comment. I'm surprised you're awake at this time. Hopefully you're following all of the things that I'm saying and that it's not too weird or unbearable. Okay, Honora, the wizard, being that she's a wizard, gets much, much more spells. She is actually going to start off with 8 spells, so let's select those for her. Starting off with pile number 2, card number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Heal Body. Does pretty much exactly what it sounds like it does. Pile number 2, card number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tempest again. Not again for her, I guess, but again for overall in the quest. Pile number 1, card number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Another Tempest. Weird how that works. Pile number 4, card number 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Rock Skin. There are other spells in here, I promise. It's kind of funny that we're seeing a whole bunch of repeating stuff. She gets another 4. Pile 4, card 2. 1, 2. Courage. This temporarily boosts her attack, which is very helpful for a wizard. Doesn't have very much physical attack. Pile number 1, card number 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Veil of Mist again. Now, Veil of Mist allows them to move unseen through spaces occupied by monsters. Again, just not something I tend to use very often. Pile 1, card 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Pass Through Rock is another one that I don't find myself using very much. This allows heroes to pass through walls and through monsters and sort of things. Provides a risk for the hero just being dead if they end up in an area of solid rock. And then finally, pile 3, card 1, which is Sleep. Again, does pretty much exactly what the card says it does. All right, and then we can pile these all back up and put them away. And then we'll organize just for a second before we actually start. I'm going to put the spells over here with the character sheets, and I'm going to order them kind of generally how I think I might use them. It doesn't have to be really specific, just so that I have the smallest chance of having to pull from the middle of the pile of spells. Give ourselves a nice vertical pile there and set that here on Honora's sheet. Okay, I think we're all good to go with all of this stuff. Now each hero starts with 10 body points. This, by the way, is something I changed from the original Hero Quest. I think that's something that my dad started doing, actually. I think I took that from him, starting the heroes with 10 rather than much less. I'm going to prepare a version of my rules and also a specific document listing all of my changes to the Hero Quest rules and find a way to put those as links in these videos. I'm not quite sure how to do that yet, but we're definitely going to do that so that if you're a Hero Quest fan and you're just curious what I've changed and why I've changed it, again, you can feel totally free to throw a question into the chat and we can answer it here on chat, or if you want to read that document, you can do that there. Mostly, I wanted the heroes to be able to go off on their own or into smaller groups without that being an immediate death sentence. I think in real Hero Quest, the wizards only have 4 body points, which means they're probably going to die if they're alone. So bumping the wizard up to 10 helps that a lot. Okay, let's read the quest-specific text, which is much shorter than the introduction, and dive into the actual quest. This quest is called The Trial, and for regular fans of Hero Quest, this is not the normal The Trial quest. This is actually taken from something that Hasbro put out and repurposed. All right, this message is from Mentor about this quest in particular. I have much knowledge to impart upon you, but little time to do so. As we speak, a contingent of minions loyal to Zargon escapes our grasp. If this wicked group of monsters should succeed in retreating back to Zargon's dread host, there will be dire consequences indeed. The people of your lands tell tales of your good deeds. Help the realm with this critical task, and you shall take the first step on the road to becoming true heroes. We have tracked these sinister forces to a location nearby. I can provide you guidance using the Far Voice spell, but cannot intervene on your behalf. All right, and that leads us into the quest itself. Let's go back to our board where we can see where we are going to start. We are starting this quest in that central room right there, on a stairway, which we have as a tile here. Stairway goes right here, and it is comically smaller than the squares that it sits on. And we're going to put the heroes on in the turn order, which is Valirna the Elf. Forgive me, I'm going to be also kind of learning some of these heroes' names. Thraken the Barbarian, Hogard the Dwarf, and Anora the Wizard, in that particular order. In fact, I do believe I'm going to grab some character cards that Hasbro was nice enough to provide in this game, and just so that I remember the order, I'm going to place them down here in front of me, just like that. Now this particular order I will probably remember. Show you guys what this looks like. Because back in the day when these were the only 4 types of heroes we had, this was just the turn order I used every single time, this right here. But when we start getting some of those other hero classes in there, it's going to be a little harder to remember what order they're supposed to go in. Okay, also in this central room with the heroes, let's see if we can get a little closer to them even. Also in the room with this group of heroes is a door that's leading out this way. We have a fireplace right here and a cupboard right here. All this furniture is also going to get painted eventually. Looking very much forward to that. And we are pretty much ready to get started. The map is revealed as the heroes move through the map, so we won't see what's going on until they see what's going on. They have the ability to search rooms for things. Now, heroes in this land all possess an innate ability which is called Warrior Sense, and this allows them to search the areas that they're in for things like traps and secret doors without actually having to walk around the room. Or at least that's what we're saying to make it make sense that the mini doesn't have to walk all the way around a room to have searched it. So we're going to be randomizing this. This game is meant to be played by between 2 and 5 people, and it's just me down here. So we're going to be randomizing pretty much everything that every hero does so that it's not unfair that I have the map of the quest right in front of me. I know what's going to happen. So let's see. Valirna's very first turn, she has the option to search the room for traps, search the room for secret doors, search the room for treasure, or move out of the room. So we'll just use the 4 suits on a deck of cards here to determine which one of those things she does. She is going to search this room for secret doors and find none. I have some markers here that are going to help me remember what's been searched. I'll go ahead and show you guys this just because I find it really interesting. On our alternate camera here, if I move off the 3D board, we have here a classic Milton Bradley 1989 Hero Quest map. This isn't even the Avalon Hill remake, this is the OG map right here. And I keep this here so that I can put these little wooden things in here to help me remember what's been searched. Brown means secret doors. So if there's a brown marker here in the middle room, it means it's been searched for secret doors. Because I have absolutely no chance of remembering that something has been searched unless I help myself like that. Okay. Valerna has 2 actions on her turn, and searching for secret doors was the first. So with her second action, she can do any of the 3 things that she didn't do last time. She is also going to search this room for traps, which is a red marker. And there are no traps in this room either. So that concludes her turn. Okay, Thraken the Bold, Barbarian. He can search for treasure or leave the room. He's going to search for treasure. We have a deck of cards back here, which is the treasure deck. This is way bigger than your normal treasure deck here. This includes lots and lots and lots of cards that are balanced across good things and bad things. Let's draw the top card and see what Thraken finds. Ooh, he got one of the real good ones right off the bat. In the back of the room is a crude shrine built from rocks and sticks. Between 2 smelly yellow candles is a badly drawn picture of what appears to be a Fimmer wearing a long-haired wig. This is a really weird card for a first treasure card draw. You catch sight of a pile of 50 gold coins sitting just behind the shrine. That's a good pull for treasure. He just found 50 coins. Let's mark that down on his sheet and try and ignore the weird thing about the Fimmer that he apparently saw. All right, with his second action, we're gonna go ahead and get him moving. So if you direct your attention down to the bottom left corner of the screen, you will find a dice cam. You can see my fingers there right now, so if you're ever questioning what exactly was rolled on the dice, you can check it out down there. Here's some movement dice. So he is going to be moving 7, and there's nowhere to go in this room except towards that door. So let's move him that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's gonna go ahead and open this door. Now these doors are neat, they do actually open, but just because they're in the way, the door is kind of in the way of the hallway out there, I'm just gonna remove the door entirely. All right, what is Thraken seeing out in this hallway? Let's move our other camera over here so that we can see this a little bit easier. So you can see Thraken there. He's now looking down this long hallway here. He is seeing a couple of walls here, which are impassable, so he can't go that way. This is pushing him off this way. He's actually seeing a wall at the end of the hallway too. So there's only one way to go here. And down this hallway is another door. Right there. Now he's out of actions, but it's probably a bad idea to step out into this hallway before he knows for sure if there are traps out there. So let's draw a card. Is he going to recklessly walk out into the hallway, or is he going to stop? Even though he can't search the hallway for traps yet, he might stop here. Yes, he is going to stop right here out of fear that there might be traps. All right, Hogard the Dwarf. There's nothing left to do in this room other than move, so let's get that moving. 6 he rolled. Heroes can exit the stair tile on any square, by the way. It doesn't have to be one directly next to them. Here we are back over here. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3. Now he has no choice but to step out into the hallway. He can't pause his movement on top of Thraken there. So he's going to step out into the hallway, and let's draw for him. He does have an action left. Is he going to stop and search for traps, or just continue his move? Yes, he's going to stop right here and search this hallway for traps, which is an extremely smart move. However, there are no traps in this hallway, but it's always good to stop and check. Okay, moving on to Anora the Wizard. Moving also 6, and she'll be able to move further down that hallway since we know there's no traps there now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now that she's in this hallway, she can also search it for secret doors. Hallways can be searched for traps and secret doors, but not treasure. Treasure can only be searched for in rooms, and only when the room does not have any monsters in it. Good little small things to remember. There are no secret doors in this hallway, but we have succeeded with that. And that is our very first full turn. Not an action-packed turn, but definitely getting it going. All right, let's go ahead and move back to Valerna. I knew I was going to say her name wrong, that's why I checked. Valerna the elf, who can now also move. She is going to be moving 7. Now I know we can't see her, but she's about to get into camera shot, so we'll just leave that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's get a little bit closer down to what's going on in this hallway now that pretty much everybody is moving this direction. Push that back just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right, now there is nothing else she can do with her second action, so we are going to move straight to Thraken the Barbarian, who's also moving. We need to get somebody up to that door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Thraken is going to open the door to this room. What he finds, is another door back there. Also, a table. So we're going to put a carpet down in this room right here so that it takes up the proper amount of spaces. He can't step on any of the spaces that that carpet is on. And in the middle of that carpet is a table, just like that. And then on either side of the table are the first monsters that we are going to see. The first of many types of monsters that plague the land of Ilenthyr. And these are mountain goblins. So take a look at this guy right here. This is a mountain goblin. Again, I wish the camera would focus there. So goblins are pretty short in stature and generally pretty fast, not super strong. Both of the minis we're looking at here are Milton Bradley minis. We've got a mixture of both things, and both of these painted by my wife. Again, if you want to tune in, she will actually be streaming on this very same channel at the very same time tomorrow night, working on some more goblin painting. But those guys are in the room there. Now, Thraken still has a little bit of movement left, so we need to decide what is he going to do right here. Is he going to stop his movement and search for traps, or is he going to continue in there to try and attack them? He doesn't have anything long range, which means he's going to have to get right up to them to be able to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's not got enough movement to get all the way up to a goblin. So honestly, I think it would be smarter for him to stop and search for traps right here. Let's go ahead and do that. He is going to search that room for traps and find nothing. That leaves him potentially open to attack. So let's see what happens with Hogard. Okay, Hogard is going to be moving 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now he knows there's no traps in there, so let's get him up to one of those goblins. He's going to move to this guy. 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Our first combat. Again, can I move this camera any closer to the action? The springs on this are just pushing the camera right back up. Okay, so that's about as close as we're getting. With the second action, Hogard, I forgot his name, Hogard is going to attack this goblin right here. Now, Hogard has a hand axe, which is a small version of an axe that he can use to attack with. This gives him the power of 2 attack dice, and these again are classic Milton Bradley attack dice. They look like this. They have shields and skulls and black shield somewhere. Oh yes, and this one has been colored in. This was a recent acquired dice right here. I don't think I'm the one who colored that in. So we're going to throw both of these dice. Oh, and he got 2 white shields. Okay, well that means he missed. So he did not hit that goblin. It's a good way to start, buddy. That's a good way to start. All right, let's get Honora also moving. She's going to move 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. Can she get up to that other guy? 5, 6, 7. No, she can't. She cannot reach either one of these guys, and she's a little bit frail when it comes to defense. Actually, right at the moment, since we're at the beginning, everybody has the same amount of defense, so honestly, it doesn't matter. So yeah, let's go 5, 6, 7. I think that's right. Somebody correct me if that movement wasn't right. I'll be honest, I forgot how many she moved. So she can't do anything else as far as attacking. She can, however, search this room for secret doors. Just so that she's not doing nothing, we'll let her search this room for secret doors. There aren't any, but again, always safe to check. We are at the end of the hero's turn, and now we have monsters on the board, which makes it the monster's turn. So the monsters have the ability to move and attack the heroes back. Let's actually start with this goblin right here, who is next to Hogard. Goblins also attack with 2 attack dice. It's the exact same dice as before, so let's go ahead and throw those in there. And that goblin got 1 skull, which means he's scored 1 hit against Hogard, but Hogard does have the ability to defend it. Right now, he has what's called Rusty Armor, which is just something that each hero gets for their very first ever quest, which allows him 2 defense dice. So not very much, but let's see if he's able to defend that 1 skull. Yes, indeed. So he rolled a white shield and a black shield. The white shields are what the heroes use, so that white shield cancels out the skull that the goblin rolled, so no damage taken. Our other goblin, this guy right here, can move up to Anora. 1, 2, those guys can move up to 10 squares, mountain goblins, and we're just going to go through that exact same thing. The goblin attacks. Ooh, actually got a critical hit. Both dice rolled skulls, so hit 2 on Anora. Anora also is wearing rusty armor, meaning she has 2 defense dice. And she, again, rolled a white shield and a black shield, meaning she blocked 1 of those skulls, but not the other. So she loses a body point, and she's now down to 9. Hopefully that fairly well explains the battling system, and we don't have to... we can go through it a little faster next time it happens. Okay. Let's get over here to Valerna. That is 2 turns in a row now that I've almost said Laverna. I'm gonna struggle with that, I know it. Okay, she rolled an 8, so let's get her in there. Now, I don't think she's gonna be able to help attack yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she's in there. Now, she could cast one of her spells, but goblins are the easiest monster in the game, so it's a little bit of a, I don't know if it's worth. This is the only thing she can do long range is cast a spell. Otherwise, she's just kind of standing there. Tell you what, there's really no reason that she shouldn't go ahead and cast her rock skin spell right now. Now, she can cast this rock skin spell on herself or on any hero that she can see, which at the moment is everybody. So let's see, does she cast it on herself, or is she going to cast it on one of the 2 heroes that is actively in combat? So let's say low roll is going to be her, medium roll will be the dwarf Hogard, yes, and the high roll will be Anora the wizard. Low roll, she's going to cast it on herself. So what this spell does, I'll show you the card because I don't know if you saw it all that close before. This spell gives her a rock-like body, which gives her 1 extra defense dice until she takes any sort of damage, and then the spell is just canceled. So it's not going to come in handy for her now, but she got to use her other action. Thraken the Barbarian is in a very similar situation. He can move in there, but he can't quite help attack anybody yet. So let's just kind of stick him over here with Anora, ready to go if she wants to move out of the way. She's got plenty of spells over here, so it may be to her advantage to attack and then move. Okay, next we have Hogard the Dwarf, who is still in combat with that goblin. Let's see if he can get rid of that guy. Hogard attacks, hitting the goblin with a 1. The goblin defends with 1 dice and does not defend the attack. Goblins only have 1 body point, so that means that the goblin is dead. The first monster death of Midnight Quest. Fairly unsurprisingly, a goblin dying at the hands of a dwarf. Sounds about right. Is there anything else he can do? He can't search for treasure yet because there's another goblin in there. Does he dare go ahead and move and open that other door even though we don't know what's behind it? Let's see. Yeah, he's gonna do that. So for his second action, he moves. 1, 2, 3. Oops. I'm moving Thraken. And we're going to open the door into this wooden brown room over here. In this room is another door. is on camera, right? Yeah, it is. And at the moment, nothing else. Kind of weird. So now is Hogard going to stop here? He can't search for traps yet. Or is he going to just recklessly run into the room? That one. Okay. He had 6 and he went 1, 2, 3. So moving towards this other door, 4, 5, unfortunately, he's just stepped on a trap. He should have searched because this trap was totally avoidable. What he stepped on is a pit trap. And what we need to do now, we're going to grab a pit trap tile, which looks like this, and we're going to put that under him. And we're going to roll a dice here to see if he noticed that the pit trap was opening up and jumped away, or if he fell into the pit trap. For this, we're just going to roll a single combat dice. And if it's a skull, he falls in. If it's either shield, he jumped away. That gives him a 50-50 chance. Now, it is a shield, which means luckily he didn't fall in. So we're going to have him jump in one of the 4 cardinal directions. We'll just do a card here. Hearts means he's going to jump this way, which luckily is not another trap, which can happen sometimes. Now, he's out of actions, so he's stuck there. Okay, back down into the blue room, we now have Honora, who is still attacking this goblin here. I say still attacking, she hasn't gotten a chance to attack yet. Honora is currently equipped with a wooden staff, which gives her 2 attack dice. And she also gets 1 skull. Let's see if this goblin can defend this attack. It does not. She manages to kill that goblin. Excellent. Finally, no more monsters in the room. Okay, is she going to search this room for treasure now that it is free of monsters, or move out into the room where Hogard is? She is not going to search. She's going to go ahead and move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, yeah, we should draw here. Is she going to stop here? Nope. 7, 8, 9. Now, she's lucky she didn't step on any other traps there. But we can go ahead and open the door into this next room. Let me adjust this camera just a tiny bit. There we go. In the red room, we have another door. We have a weapons rack, which is a neat looking piece of furniture that looks like this. That weapons rack is here. And 2 more monsters. This is another monster that we haven't seen yet. These monsters are mountain orcs. Mountain monsters, by the way, are just kind of the normal variety of most of these green-skinned monsters. Right here we have a Milton Bradley orc. And we're also going to go ahead and put in one of the Avalon Hill orcs, which are kind of much bigger and meaner looking. So these guys are kind of like slightly upgraded goblins. They're just a little bit more of a threat, but they're still kind of a basic monster. Both these guys are mountain orcs. Not painted yet. But Honora has essentially just opened herself up to being attacked, which is one of the reasons it's kind of dumb to go opening doors when you're out of options. She doesn't have any other actions, so that's where we're at. We are now at the monster's turn, which means one of these orcs is going to go ahead and come up and attack her. It's actually going to be this guy. 1, 2. Orcs have stronger attack than goblins do, so let's see what it does. Oop, we got a dice that didn't quite roll all the way down. 2. Hit her with 2. That is no fun. See if she's able to defend either of those. She does actually. 2 white shields, so she's able to ward off that attack entirely. Nice. Back to the heroes. Valerna, who is over here in our blue room. That is her right here. She has the same options. Do we search for treasure or do we leave the room? She is also leaving. These heroes aren't interested in treasure, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is she going to stop here and search for traps? Nope. 5, 6, and again, because we still don't have access to long-range weapons for these heroes, she's not able to help attack. but she is standing there ready. Now she has another action, and this brown room has not been searched for anything. She has the option to search it for any of the three things: traps, secret doors, or treasure. She is going to go for treasure. Okay. She didn't want to search it in the blue room, but she's searching it in the brown room. Let's see what she finds. Oh no, she found a pitfall. Suddenly, the stone beneath your feet gives way. You fall into a shallow pit, losing 1 body point. It's kind of like a pit trap, but a non-permanent version. She lost a body point. She is now down to 9. Okay, Thrackan, who is now the last person in this blue room, needs to search it for treasure before it is left. So we're going to go ahead and force that on him before anything else happens. He's going to search the blue room for treasure. Let's see what he finds. Oh no! Another bad thing. He has found a wandering monster. Now this is a card that's in the treasure deck pretty often, but each quest lists a different monster at the bottom that can appear when this card is drawn. And this quest, the wandering monster, is a mountain goblin. So it's similar to the ones that we saw before. The difference between running into one of these guys in a room and drawing this is that they pop out of nowhere, and they attack immediately. So this goblin, even though it's not the monster's turn, this goblin gets to attack right now. And that goblin hits him with 1. Let's see if he defends. He does. He got lucky there. Let's go ahead and turn him to face that goblin, because he does have a second action. Searching for treasure was the first action, so on his second action he can attack back. Thrackan is holding a broadsword, which is a slightly more powerful version of the hand axe there, so he actually throws 3 to attack. He hits the goblin with a 2, and this is what we call a skilled strike, which means that he rolled more skulls than that goblin could possibly defend. Even if the goblin rolls a black shield, it's still dead. So he took care of that guy pretty quick. Again, for fans of Hero Quest, you have no idea how tempted I was to say broadsword there. We are now at Hogard, the dwarf, who is in that brown room. Now again, he can't help attacking the orc. Let's point this a little bit more at him. Hogard is standing up here. He can't help attack the orc because we don't have long-range weapons yet, but there's still plenty of stuff to search that brown room for. So is he going to search it for traps or secret doors? He's going traps. That kind of makes sense, being that he stupidly fell in one. There are no other traps in that room other than that pit trap. Now he does have the ability to disarm that pit trap, which would essentially remove it from the board, but it's entirely avoidable. There's no reason for him to risk falling into it trying to disarm it, so we'll leave it there. With his other action, we'll go ahead and have him search for secret doors, and there are none. There we go. All right, moving on to Anora. I will learn these heroes' names eventually. Ooh, I just realized something important that I almost did not take. When Valerna searched for treasure in this room, she found a pitfall which caused her to take damage, which means her rock skin spell is done for. She took damage. That sucks a little bit. She didn't get to actually benefit from it. It's kind of on me. I let her cast that. Kind of dumb. Okay, Anora is now able to attack that orc. So again, wielding her wooden staff, she takes a swing at that guy and smacks him right in the face with 1 skull. Let's see if that orc defends. It does. It rolled a black shield right here, which means it defended that skull. Now I think it would be to Anora's benefit to move out of that doorway so that the other heroes can help attack the monsters in that room. So let's roll her some movement dice and actually have her move back. Not across that trap. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just have her go right there. Okay. We are now back to the monster's turn, where both of these orcs can now move into the room. They have pretty much free reign to attack any of the 3 heroes standing in that brown room. So the first guy, the guy that's standing in the doorway there, who's he gonna hit? He is going to go for Anora. I guess that makes sense. He's kind of chasing her. By the way, monsters can stand on traps without triggering them. So he's allowed to stand on that pit trap. The orc attacks Honora with a 1, which she does not defend, unfortunately. And the other orc, who's the other orc going for? He is going to go for Valerna? I knew I was going to say that wrong. There we go. That orc is going to attack our elf. He hits her with a 1. And she defends. Good. So not too much body points lost here because we're still early in the quest. Let me take a drink here real fast. Awesome. Okay, and we are actually right back to Valerna attacking that orc. Now she has that Tempest spell, but again, I don't know that that's necessary right at the moment. Maybe if she's struggling to get rid of this guy. She attacks the orc. She, by the way, has a short sword. I don't think I mentioned that before. That gives her 2 attack dice. And she actually gets a critical hit here. She's hit that guy with 2 skulls. Let's see if he defends. And it does not. I should say it. I don't know that the monsters have he or she. Some of them look a specific way, but it's kind of hard to tell. That guy is dead. All right. What else can she do? This room is tapped, so she could go ahead and move into that red room. We might as well have her do that. 1, but does she stop here because that room hasn't been searched for traps? Nope. 2, 3. Lucky for her, she hasn't stepped on anything yet. Okay, moving on to Thraken, who is slightly off camera right now. He is still back here in the blue room, but not for long. 11 he is moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good, he can help with this orc right here. Move the camera back that direction. There we go. So, using his broadsword, he takes a swing at the orc, hitting it with a 2. The orc attempts to defend, and does indeed defend one of those skulls, but not the other. Orcs also only have 1 body point, which means that orc is now dead. Taken care of. Excellent. Okay, he moved and attacked, so we are now on to Hogard, who can move out of that room. There's nothing else to be done. Now, did Hogard learn his lesson? 1, 2. Is he going to stop and search this room for traps before he walks into it? Nope, he sure didn't. 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to stop him here. 2. Is he going to stop and search for traps, stop and search for secret doors, stop and search for treasure, or open that door? He is going to stop and search for secret doors. The randomizer cards really love making heroes search for secret doors, which is odd. Certainly not the thing that I'd be searching for this obsessively. There are no secret doors in that room. All right, and Honora, the wizard. 5, she's moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think she can safely move into that room. 2 other heroes have stepped on that square. They know it's not trapped. Now that she's in here, what's she going to search for? It's either going to be traps or treasure. Traps. And there are none in this room. Okay, no monsters on the board, so we are back to Valerna. I'm literally looking at that page at every turn. I cannot for the life of me remember that name. Okay. Is she going to search for treasure or leave the room? She's leaving. 5, she's going 1, 2. She's going to open this blue door. You guys can't see that. I'm going to move that camera. Here we go. Into this new blue room, there is an additional door. And at the moment, nothing else. Okay, she hasn't done anything else on her turn except move yet. Is she going to stop and search for traps? No. Oh, these heroes are going to learn the hard way. And I can guarantee you that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because this last square she steps on is indeed trapped, this time with a spear trap. Now there is a tile for this. This is not something that you'll find in a regular Hero Quest set. This is something that I printed off and then we glued to another tile. So this is a spear trap, but we actually won't need to put this tile down because for this trap, once it's sprung, it's gone. The question is, does it hit her? So again, we're gonna roll that dice to see if she jumped out of the way. Okay, can you see that? Yes, she did indeed jump out of the way of this spear trap. Now she doesn't have any movement, so we're gonna leave her on that square, but she did not take damage from the trap. These heroes are learning the hard way. You always search for traps, always. Thraken the Barbarian. All he's got to do is move right now. Yeah, you can kind of see him. He's right back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now he's in a weird position crossing these two rooms. He can search the red room for treasure because he's standing in it, but because he is looking into the blue room, he can search that one for traps or secret doors. Now you gotta be standing in a room to search it for treasure, but you can search it for the other things just by looking in the doorway. So let's see. Treasure in the red room, traps in the blue room, secret doors in the blue room. He's going for traps in the blue room. And that spear trap was the only one in there. So she really should have searched before she walked. Again, totally avoidable trap. All right, Hogard. Treasure in the red room or leaving? He's doing treasure. Just like a dwarf, to be the one who's gonna search for treasure. Let's see what he finds. Oh, we got a special treasure in this room. The objects on this weapons rack have fallen into disrepair. However, the first hero to search for treasure will find a shield exactly like the one described in the armory. Excellent. So we're going to go ahead and get this on Hogard. He's just found a shield. We're going to write this on his character sheet, which gives him 1 extra defense dice. So he's going to be throwing 3 dice to defend now. Excellent. Okay, his other action might as well be movement. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he can't search for anything else in this blue room. He might as well open the door. 6. And he's going to open this door. Let's switch back to our other camera here and move it over so that we can see. They've kind of made their way back to the central room. However, we are in a new area. Let's see what he can see in this area. First off, he can see some walls. We already know about the wall that's here that's blocking them from going that way. There are also a couple more walls here, right here, blocking off that double wide hallway. Okay, yes, at the moment that's all he can see, other than there is indeed a new door leading up into this fancy red room. Let's see, he was only at 6. He technically can move out there. Is he going to? He is. 7, 8. Again, a risky and kind of stupid move. You might step on a trap. Luckily, he didn't. All right, and Honora, the wizard, who is still back up here. I'm not even at the right camera. There we go. Honora is back in that red room there. Let's get her moving in the right direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll just leave her right there, standing next to Valerna, because this room has stuff to be searched for. Secret doors or treasure? She's going for treasure. See what she finds. You pry a loose stone from the floor. Inside is a chest containing what appears to be hundreds of coins. Upon closer inspection, however, you discover that most of the coins are wooden. You only find 25 gold coins in the chest. Still not a bad pull. So we are going up to a total of 75 coins. And luckily she didn't see any weird pictures of Fimmers when she was searching. Alright, this would be the monster's turn, but there are no monsters on the board, so we are back to Valerna. Is she going to search this room for secret doors or leave? She's doing the secret door search. There are none in this room, which allows her to go ahead and Either head out into the hallway or just head to the door. 1, 2. Has she learned her lesson about searching for traps before walking into an area? Yes, she has. She does not have the action to actually search, but she's not walking out there until somebody does. Thraken the Barbarian. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is he going to stop here and search for traps? Yes, he is. Okay, this is a weird area to search. This is something that neither the Hero Quest rules nor any rule that I've ever implemented specifies when a hallway is searched, how much of the hallway is searched. So what we're going to do, this is just kind of the general rule that I've adopted, is from this square right here, all the way around the central room, all the way up to here, is going to be the area that we're going to let him trap search. And I'll give you that that's a pretty decent sized area that might be arguably too big, but we're going to go ahead and let this trap search apply to that entire area. The only other thing that we would reveal to him other than traps are the locations of walls, which he has not seen yet. Now luckily there are none of those. Also, there are no traps in that area. Okay, I've already put the marker over there. All right, Hogard. We can also search this same area for secret doors, or he can move. What's he doing? He is doing the secret door search, and there are none. Plenty of regular doors, though. Let's get him moving. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, because he's standing right here, he can see down this hallway. Let's go ahead and move the camera a little bit so that you guys can see that hallway. And right at the moment, there is nothing new to report for this hallway. So I think it's safe to say most players would go ahead and open that door. We could arguably draw a card to see if he walks past it because there's more stuff, but I think it's pretty likely that most people are not going to pass by a door unless they see a different door that they're interested in checking out. So he opens the door up into this kind of reddish-orange room. And in here, there are no additional doors. There is, however, an alchemy bench. So we're going to put a carpet down up there. The alchemy bench is another really cool piece of furniture that looks like this. Yeah. We're going to stick that down right there. Also in this room is another new type of monster. An ocean abomination. Now the abominations were created by dark magic, dread magic to be exact. They, as the name kind of implies, should not exist. So they don't really have all that good of a constitution. It's easy to kind of knock them apart. There are several different types of abominations, but ocean abomination is the one we run into the most. Probably because they look like fish. All right, what are we going to do here, Hogard? He has already used his other action, so he can't attack. However, he does have enough movement to go in there. Are we going to have him do that? Is he staying in the hallway or going in? He's staying in the hallway. So he can't do any searching. He can't attack, but we know that he's going to be fighting that abomination. Moving on to Honora. She's moving 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then she actually can't move her 9th because Hogard's in the way. Can she do anything to help? Obviously she can't attack the abomination, but she's got plenty of spells we might as well be using up. She's also got a rock skin spell. Let's draw a card here. Is she going to cast this on herself or on Hogard? She is going to cast this on herself. They're being really selfish with their spells here. But Hogard did find that shield, which means he's got better defense than everybody else already. So she's just kind of beefing herself up with rock skin unless she takes damage. Monster's turn. The Ocean Abomination is going to move up and attack Hogard. Let me review the Ocean Abomination's stats. Here we go. Those guys attack with 3. So he swings his spear at Hogard, hitting him with a 1. Hogard attempts to defend and does manage to do so. That could have been way worse. He got real lucky with the dice rolls there. Valerna. Yeah, we can see her. She's right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and she can't take her 5th movement because the other guys are standing in the way. Nothing really she can do. She's got Tempest and Veil of Mist, but neither of those are going to increase her movement, nor would she be allowed to cast a spell and then continue her movement. So either way, there is nothing else she can do. She's just there. Thraken. The dice cam's kind of blocking him. There he is. He might as well be moving past. Oh, except he got Snake Eyes. He got 2. 1, 2. Good movement, buddy. Good movement. He must have seen a snake or something. I don't know. That puts us back to Hogard. Now, every time I say that name, I almost say Hogarth, like the character from the Iron Giant. That's what makes me think of every time. So he is going to swing his hand axe at the Ocean Abomination. Uh-oh, we got a dice that didn't quite land. Hitting it with a critical hit of 2. Now these guys only defend with 2, but they do have 2 body points, so let's see if it lives. No black shields. This guy is dead. The heroes aren't having a super tough time getting rid of monsters. And let me tell you, that will change the further we get into this. All right, next action. What's he going to do? He might as well be the steward of that room that he found. There's nothing else going on that we can see. Is he going to search it for traps, search it for secret doors, or move into the room with the intention of searching for treasure on the next turn? He is doing that one. So let's just go 1 into the room, and next time we'll have him search for treasure. Okay, Honora. She can go ahead and move beyond his position by 9, and we're going to need to draw a card to see which way she goes, because she's got some options once we get down into this hallway. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that she is here, she can see down this hallway right here, so let's go ahead and populate that. Move the camera back so that you guys can also see what's going on there. There is a wall at the end of the hallway. There is a door right here. At the moment, that is all she can see, but there is also hallway to continue going down right here. So first off, is she going to stop right here and search this new hallway for traps? No, she is not. Is she going to walk down this hallway or continue walking the direction she's already going? She's doing that second one, so she's not going the new way. How many did she move? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now she can see down this bottom hallway, so let's go ahead and move the camera over here. She can see 2 doors from this position. There is a door right here, as well as a door right here. Now she's not technically walking into an area that hasn't been searched yet, so we don't need to draw that. I've again lost how many she's moved. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I would argue that there's really no reason she wouldn't go ahead and open this door she's landed in front of, into this kind of brownish purple room. So she opens this door. There are actually no further doors in this room. There is, however, some dirt floor, which we're going to sneak under this little skeleton guy that's hanging out at the bottom there. There is a torture rack, which looks like this. And there are some new monsters in this room. These are undead monsters. There are 2 different types. There are 2 skeletons. And it just so happens that the minis we're pulling here are both from the Avalon Hill remake. Skeletons. And 1 zombie. This particular mini is from Milton Bradley and includes a tiny little bit of paint that I did when I was very young there on his cleaver. Also, I can always tell when this is a mini that I had for a long time if there's a badly drawn Sharpie number on the bottom. This guy is standing down here in the corner. Now, neither of these types of monsters are particularly difficult. Skeletons are the 2nd easiest monsters in this game, and zombies are the 3rd. So harder than goblins, not quite as hard as orcs, these guys. Alright, Honora hasn't done anything other than move. However, she also doesn't have a long-range weapon. So is she going to cast one of her spells is the next question. Now, Heal Body isn't necessary. Nobody's lost enough points. Courage might help her out, but let's wait on that. She's got Tempest, which would help her on one of these monsters, but would not prevent her from being attacked by the others. So not necessarily great. She's also got Sleep, which is ineffective on undead monsters. I guess she can't do anything. So, can she search this room for traps or secret doors? Let's see which one she's going for. She's going for secret doors. They are bound and determined to find a secret door somewhere. There are no secret doors in that room. The monster's turn. One of these skeletons is going to come up there and attack her. It's going to be this one. 2, 3. The skeleton swings its scythe at Honora, hitting her with a critical hit of 2. She defends one, but not the other. Oh, wait a minute. She's got rock skin. Let's throw her a third dice. Ah, darn. She does not. Meaning she takes a point of damage, putting her down to 7 health and getting rid of her rock skin spell. At least we remembered to do it that time. All right, back to Valerna. We're gonna go ahead and switch back to the other camera and get that pointing at the other heroes since they've kind of split up here. Here we go. Valerna is standing right here and there's nothing she can do other than move. So let's get her moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we still pointing at her? Yeah. Fairly well. Is she gonna go down this new hallway? Ooh, we need to reshuffle our randomizer deck. One moment. Is she going to go down the new hallway? No, she is coming down here to help Honora. Now, unfortunately, she can't do anything just yet, but she is here to help if they can get into that room. Okay, Thraken, who is also standing back up here. We're going to let the heroes divide into a couple of teams. So Thraken and Hogard we're just going to force them down this new hallway so that we're not having randomizers skipping parts of the map. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unfortunately, he doesn't quite make it to that new hallway, but we do know once he gets there, he's going to be going that way. Okay, Hogard in that red room needs to be searching for some stuff. Now we know based on his last turn, he's going to start with a treasure search. So let's see what he finds. The first hero to search for treasure will find 4 potions of healing on the alchemist bench. That is very nice. So potions of healing look like this, and they heal 4 body points when they are drank. This is going to help out these heroes over the course of several quests, I imagine. We're going to mark these potions on his character sheet. He can, by the way, kind of hand those out among the heroes, but only if he is standing next to them and neither hero is adjacent to a monster. So right at the moment, he's just going to keep all 4 of those in his inventory. All right, what else is he going to do? There's no reason to search for traps unless there is a secret door in here. So let's force that. He's going to search for secret doors, and there are none. So now he knows he doesn't need to search for traps. He's already stepped on the only square he needs to step on, and it wasn't trapped. He can leave, which will be next turn. Back over to Honora. Here we are, who is fighting this skeleton. Now again, as we mentioned, none of her spells are going to be particularly helpful in this case. So she swings her wooden staff at the skeleton, hitting it with a 1. Let's see if it defends. Oh, it does. It would have defended 2 skulls even. So that's no help. All right, she might as well use her other action to try and search for traps in this room, and there are none. But we are back to the monster's turn, which at the moment is only this skeleton that's fighting her. By the way, and I imagine that viewers have probably put this together, but just so that it's out there, heroes are not allowed to move through monsters, and monsters are not allowed to move through heroes. Now, the 2 different types can move through So monsters can move through monsters, heroes can move through heroes, but not the other way around. So these other two monsters can't do anything on the monster's turn other than move, and we're just going to leave them where they're at. This skeleton, however, can go ahead and attack, swinging its scythe at Honora and hitting her with a 1. She defends, but she does not roll a white shield. She takes another body point of damage, putting her down to 6. She's starting to get a little bit beat up. All right, Valerna, who's the elf standing right next to her, again, still can't help since Honora was not able to punch through that skeleton to get both of them in the room. So I think we ought to consider letting Valerna move on. I mean, the other option is having her skip her turn entirely, which isn't good. So let's get her moving. So 1, 2, and standing here, she can now see down this double wide hallway. However, the only thing that we are going to be adding to the map is a wall right here. Is she going to stop here and search that double wide hallway for traps? No. Is she going to walk down that hallway, or is she going for the other door that's in that yellow room there that we can't quite see? She's going for that other door. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She opens this door. Let's get the camera pointing at that a little bit better. There are no further doors in this room. However, there is a throne here. There is also a treasure chest here. Whoops. But standing in front of the throne is a new type of monster, one of the scarier monsters that we have access to, and that is a gargoyle. This nasty looking guy right here. Now this gargoyle was part of one of the raids that alerted Mentor to the existence of this party. This gargoyle is actually damaged a little bit. He only has 2 remaining body points and has a little bit less defense dice than your average gargoyle does. And this is just because this is quest 1 and they know that the heroes aren't super geared up yet to be fighting this kind of monster. So slightly damaged gargoyle. Valerna, are we recklessly running into this room or are we searching for traps? I bet you guys could guess. We're running into the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And she doesn't even make it to the gargoyle. She does have that Tempest spell though. That's probably a good use of the Tempest spell. Luckily she didn't step on any traps. She didn't search anything. Yep, she's got her action. She's going to go ahead and cast her Tempest spell on that gargoyle, and all this does is cause that gargoyle to miss its next turn. So we're going to stick it right here next to the gargoyle so we kind of remember that it can't do anything on its next turn. All right, Thraken is next, and he is back up here. That's him right there, and like we mentioned earlier, we're going to force him to go down this hallway. And then Hogard's going to go with him when we get that far. 1, is he going to stop and search for traps? Oh, look, one smart hero in the group. He is going to search that hallway for traps before he walks into it. And there are no traps in that hallway. I am trying to get a camera angle that works. There we go. So we do know that down that hallway we have this one door. The hallway does extend quite a bit further than that, which is a little suspect. All right, Hogard, let's get him down in here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now he didn't quite reach the door to open it, so we might as well have him search for secret doors. And for the first time in this quest, he does actually find one. He reveals with his warrior sense an additional door right here. Now there are secret door tiles that come with the normal hero quest, but they don't vibe really well with the 3D map, so we just use regular doors there. Okay, and that brings us back to Honora, who is fighting the skeleton. Let's see if she can get rid of this guy this time. She swings her wooden staff, hitting the guy with a 1. The skeleton attempts to defend and does not. So she's gotten rid of him. What do we say for skeletons? Can we say she killed him? He was already dead. What did she do exactly? Now what's she going to do, though? There's nothing else she can search, but going in there would mean that she's going to get attacked by both monsters instead of just one. So there's probably not really a good reason for her to walk in there. She could theoretically run away, but I don't think we're at that point yet either. Ah, okay, here's a good option. She is a wizard. She's got a healing spell that heals her 4 body points, and she is exactly 4 body points down at the moment. Let's do that. So she is going to cast her heal body spell on herself, which heals 4 lost body points. So go ahead and erase some of this damage. This puts her back up to her max of 10 body points. Okay, monster's turn. Now, the only monsters on the board are the ones we're looking at with this camera angle right here. Now, we'll go ahead and start with the gargoyle first because this Tempest spell prevents him from doing anything, but it does dissipate now. This isn't a long-term spell, but it did prevent him from attacking her before she could get to him. So that was a good move on her part. Over here, however, this other skeleton is definitely going to be moving up to attack. This skeleton swings its scythe at Anora, hitting her with a critical hit of 2. That's not good. She attempts to defend and rolls 1 white shield, meaning she takes 1 body point of damage, bringing her back down to 9. Now, zombies don't move very fast, but this one might as well get started moving. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll get him ready to go. Okay, back to the heroes' turns. I think we are going to switch which cameras are looking at what. So let me get that moved here for just a second. We're gonna put this camera, the one we are currently looking at, over here with these guys. And then we're gonna move our other camera out over to here so that this can catch what's going on here. There we go, we can pretty much see what's going on. So we are here with Valerna, who is pretty much out of tricks when it comes to spells. She's just got to try and get rid of this guy. So, the first, man, I kind of hate this, I'll be honest. She probably should search for traps so that she knows this next square she's about to step on isn't trapped, but that does mean she won't get to attack the guy on this turn. Now, if I were in charge of this hero, I would take the risk and have her go without searching for traps, but we can't guarantee that a player wouldn't do that. And I know that there's not a trap on that square, so that may be affecting my decision making. Let's draw this as a card, but let's double weight not searching for traps. Okay, she's not going to search. She's going to go ahead and use her first action as movement to move 1 square forward. Luckily, that square is not trapped. And then she's going to use her second action to swing her short sword at the gargoyle. Now, normally these gargoyles have pretty crazy defense, but like I mentioned, this one is damaged. She hit it with a 1, and it does not defend. Now, gargoyles do still have a pretty good amount of body points, and this one is no exception to that. So she didn't kill it, but she did hurt it. Oh, I put that damage marker in the wrong room. There we go. All right, back to our other fellas. We are at Thraken the Barbarian, who is going to move down this hallway, and he didn't really roll too much, so 1, 2, 3, he might as well just open this door. We can see what's in this kind of yellowish brown room. No further doors. He did indeed find a bookshelf, which looks like this. This one is actually painted, very fancy. Right there. And he's also found another treasure chest in the corner. But it's not all good news because we do have a wasteland goblin, kind of a new monster. Wasteland goblins look like this. This is another mini that is painted. Excuse me. Brown skin goblins that were, raised in the harsh wasteland or desert, meaning that they are slower, but they have a little bit better defense. There is also a wasteland orc here in this room. Now, the wasteland orc is not yet painted, but we do know that this is the Wasteland variant. So not all the Wasteland guys look like this. This orc's kind of got like a neat long-haired mohawk thing, as well as its mace. And that is standing right there. Okay, now Thraken can't move anymore. He was at the end of his movement, but this does provide him a good opportunity to go ahead and search this room for traps before anybody walks into it. And there is indeed a trap in this room. The treasure chest is trapped, meaning somebody's going to have to disarm that before anybody tries to open it. All right, Hogard, however, can definitely get in there. So let's get him right into the middle of it, I'd say. 1, 2, 3. Now, which guy should we have him attack? Is he going to go for the harder hitter or the easier one to kill? Okay, he's going to go for that goblin, the one he's already looking at. So he's going for the option of trying to kill the easier one. He swings his hand axe at the Wasteland Goblin, hitting it with a 1. It attempts to defend and does not. Wasteland Goblin dead. All right, and back over to our other action. We are looking at Honora fighting this skeleton. She swings her wooden staff, hitting the skeleton with a dice that didn't land right. Oh, she misses. 2 shields. Well, that's no good. Does she have any spells that can help her out here? Again, I don't know that the Tempest is going to really give her all that much. I hate to say it, but I think Courage might actually be the way to go, because she's struggling a little bit to fight these guys. There's only 2 guys left, though. She can't use Sleep on them. I don't know that Tempest is a good use of the spell. She does have 2 of them, though. Let's just do that. She is going to cast Tempest on the skeleton that is right in front of her, meaning that it will miss its next monster's turn. Speaking of the monster's turn, it is now that. So let's actually come over here to the Gargoyle, who is no longer stuck in a Tempest and is able to attack Valyria back. These guys have a really wicked attack, 4 dice. So it swings its serrated sword at her, hitting her with a 2. She definitely got lucky in that regard. She attempts to defend and rolls 1 white shield, meaning she takes 1 damage, putting her down to 8. So she's certainly not in danger yet, but she better get rid of this guy fast, or she might lose health really, really quick. Okay, back over here with Honora. The skeleton cannot attack because it's tempested, I guess, but the Tempest does go away now. And then up here, we've got the Wasteland Orc attacking Hogard. The Wasteland Orc swings its mace, but misses. Interesting. All right, back to the heroes. We are starting with Valyria, and the only spell she's got is Veil of Mist, which isn't going to help her right now. She's just got to beat this guy. She swings her short sword, and luckily gets a critical hit of 2. This might actually kill the guy. He defends, but he blocks 1. You got a black shield right at the top there. This is an old dice, so it doesn't look very black anymore, but that is a black shield. So it takes 1 damage. So again, she's chipping away at it, but it is not dead. She might as well search, though. She does have another action. Is she going to search for traps or secret doors in this room? She's doing secret doors, and there are none. Thraken the Barbarian, right up here, can now enter the room to help with this fight. 1, 2. He swings his broadsword at the Wasteland Orc, hitting it with a 2. The Orc attempts to defend and does not. All right, Hogard, what are we doing here? Are we searching for secret doors, or are we moving up to the treasure chest? Okay, he's gonna move. That's good, because he's the only one in the party who can disarm that chest. 1, 2, 3. Now it takes an action to disarm, so he can't do it yet, but he is in position to do it on the next turn. Back down here, we have Honora fighting this skeleton. Let's see what she can do. She swings her wooden staff at the skeleton, hitting it with a 1. The skeleton attempts to defend and does not. Good. Starting to get worried that she was not up to this task. And if this were normal Hero Quest rules, the wizard almost definitely would not have been able to take on a room of monsters on his or her own. So luckily, she's a little bit more capable than regular Hero Quest would have her be. Can she do anything else with her other action, though? She could take out her other Tempest to stop this zombie from attacking her. Let's make that random, because honestly, I'm not sure what a player would do here. Red for yes. She is. Okay, so she is going to cast her other instance of Tempest on that zombie so that it cannot attack her on the coming turn, which is now. So let's just go ahead and get rid of that card. Zombie can't attack because it's trapped in the Tempest, but the Tempest does go away. While we're over here, the Gargoyle attacks Valerna. Again, swinging its serrated sword at her. Oh, and hitting her with a critical hit of 4. Ouch. Well, she's definitely taken some of this damage. She's only got 2 defense dice. Does she defend any of this at all? 1. So she takes 3 damage. 1, 2, 3, putting her down to 5 body points. Ouch. Ouch. And that's it. That's right, because they cleared the room up here. Yeah, there's no monsters up there. Let me grab another drink. Okay. We are almost done with this quest. These guys are pretty close to the exit here. We're getting there. All right. Back to Valerna, who just took a pretty nasty hit from that gargoyle, but it's only got 1 body point left. Can she take it the rest of the way out? Oh, he only had 2 body points, didn't he? He should have been dead. Well, we're making him harder. She swings her short sword at the gargoyle, hitting it with a 1. Will this be the final blow? It is indeed. She manages to take him out. One of the harder monsters in the game, but this is the last time that they will find a pre-weakened one. So what's she doing now? She still hasn't searched this room for traps. So are we doing traps, or is she moving up to the treasure chest? She's moving up to the treasure chest. That's definitely not the smart way to go. Actually, we don't need to roll for this because she's guaranteed 2. 1, 2. She doesn't have the actions to search for treasure yet, so that'll be next turn for her. That's not the right button. I'm just gonna hit all of the buttons until we get to the right one. There we go. Okay, Thraken, are we searching for secret doors or leaving? He's gonna do the secret door search in this room and find nothing, and then he can leave. He can head down to this other door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he is going to open the door up into this like yellowish green room here. And in this room we find another dirt floor, a tomb, which is another really neat piece of furniture that looks like this. And actually in the Avalon Hill remake, this does actually open. There's nothing in there, but it's neat that they did that. That goes there. And accompanying this tomb is, presumably, its inhabitant, a mummy. New type of monster. This guy right here, this is another one of the undead monsters. And this is a particularly strong one as well. Now, he didn't have much left in his movement, did he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he had a couple left. Excuse me. He doesn't have enough to actually attack that guy. Is he going to stop in the doorway or go in the room? He's going in the room. Luckily, he didn't step on any traps. Like I said, he can't attack yet, but he's ready to go. Over at Hogard, we are now ready to attempt to disarm that trapped chest. Now, dwarves have the natural ability to disarm traps. The other heroes have to buy a special thing to have the chance to. This is another thing that I slightly edited. The dwarf can up his skill set to get to disarm traps better. Right at the moment he has a 50-50 chance. We're going to roll a dice And if it's a shield, he has disarmed it. And if it's a skull, the trap does whatever it's supposed to do. Unfortunately, a skull. Let's see what this trap is supposed to be. Ooh, a spring-loaded blade. If a hero searches for treasure before the trap is disarmed, or if the trap is sprung, they lose 2 body points. Ouch. So Hogarth, this is actually the first time he's taken damage, so he's not doing bad, but 2 body points of damage he took. However, the trap is now gone, so he can use his other action to search that treasure chest for treasure. Inside the chest is 60 gold. Not bad, but I don't know if it was worth 2 body points. Puts us up to 135 gold coins total. Back down here at Anora, there she is. She can get in here finally to try and get rid of this zombie. We're going to move her 1, and she is going to swing her wooden staff at the zombie, except she misses. Well darn. She's got no more tricks up her sleeve to stop this guy. Monster's turn. Let's go ahead and stay here. The zombie attacks back, swinging its cleaver at Anora and hitting her with a 1. She attempts to defend and does not, losing 1 body point. Also puts her at 8. One more monster we have up here, the mummy, is going to be attacking Thraken. Mummies have a little bit higher of an attack, swinging its bandaged fist at Thraken and hitting him with a 2. Yep, he also only defends with 2. He attempts to defend and defends 1 but not the other, putting him down to 9 body points. All right. Valerna is ready to search for treasure. Now, luckily, that chest is not trapped, so she's able to open it without incident. What is in that chest? 100 gold coins. Not too bad, not too bad. Puts us up to 235 coins. Awesome. And then she can leave. Now again, she knows there's no secret doors. She has stepped on every square that she needs to step on, and there's been no traps. There's no need to search this room for traps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that puts her back out into the hallway where she has used both of her actions. All right, back up here with Thraken. He can finally attack this mummy. He swings his broadsword at the mummy, hitting it with a 2. Mummies also have pretty good defense. Let's see if it defends that hit. It does defend 1 of those skulls, taking 1 damage. Mummies have 2 body points, so didn't actually kill it. Glad they're putting up a fight, though. We're not just one-shotting every monster we see. Hogarth. Leaving this room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing else to search in this hallway, so that is it for him. And then we need to go back down to Anora, who is still trying to get rid of this zombie. Swinging her wooden staff. She misses again. Boy, she is just having absolutely no luck. And I don't think she has any helpful spells, really. She could use courage, but we do have Valerna, again, totally lost her name, coming to theoretically help. So I think we can hold off on the spells. So we'll go ahead and forfeit her second action. Monster's turn. The zombie attacks back. Also missing. This is an interesting battle, isn't it? She swings and misses, it swings and misses, and on the battle goes. Up here, the mummy is attacking Thraken, swinging a fist at him and hitting him with 2. He attempts to defend and does not, actually taking both body points. I've lost my pencil. Here it is. Dropping him down to 7 body points. Ouch. All right, Valerna. Now she could go down this hallway, but I think most players would agree she ought to go help because Anora is having a whole lot of trouble getting rid of that zombie. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She got enough to get in there and help. She swings with her short sword, hitting the zombie with a 1. Zombie defends. It doesn't defend. So on her first try, she just gets rid of the guy. Okay, that takes care of her. Let's get back up here to Thraken. Thraken swings his broadsword at the mummy, hitting it again with a 2. Does it defend? It defends 1, but takes the other, which still kills it. So it is out of there. Excellent. He's got another action left, and he hasn't searched this room for anything. What are we searching, buddy? High roll is treasure. He's going straight for the good stuff. Anything special? Nope, not in this room. Let's see what he's got. After following a particularly disgusting scent to a shallow hole in the back of the room, you catch a shiny glint of something buried in what is probably just dirt. It's a gem worth 25 gold coins. Boy, we're drawing all the weird treasure cards today. 40, that puts us up to 260. Me doing math on camera live is never good. All right, that's both of his actions. So we are now at Hogard, who might as well go over there and do a secret door search. 1, 2, 3, 4. He doesn't need to enter the room to do that. Searches that room for secret doors and finds nothing. No need to search that room for traps now. They've stepped on every square that needs to be stepped on, so they can now head down. It's pretty clear that the way to go in this quest is down this double wide that nobody's been down yet. And we only have a couple more rooms, and then we are done with this quest for tonight. Okay. We are at Anora. The only thing left to do in this room is search for treasure. So let's go ahead and have her do that. It does look like there's a special note here. The first hero to search for treasure will find 40 gold coins. So somebody getting tortured must have left some coins sitting around. That puts us up to 300 coins. And then Anora can go ahead and move. 1, 2, 3. Now before she steps onto a square, we need to ask ourselves, is she going to stop? She doesn't have an action to search, but is she going to stop? No. 4. Luckily, no trap on that particular square. Now, real quick, just as an explanation, let's remember, she was able to step on this square without being worried, and that is because this square, while it is part of the double wide, is also part of this area which was searched for traps already. So we knew there was nothing there, but this square was the first one we didn't know for sure. Okay, no monsters on the board for the monster's turn, so we are right back at the elf whose name I definitely remember, Valerna. Off she goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now is she gonna stop and search for traps? Nope. 6, 7. Also, luckily, not stepping on anything. Now she's got another action. Is she gonna search for traps or secret doors? Now she searches for traps. And it's a good thing she did, because there is indeed 2 spear traps in this hallway. Here and here. Not avoidable. So they're either going to have to wait for Hogarth to come down. Hogarth, darn it, I knew I was going to say it. Hogard to come down here and get rid of them, or just step on them and hope they can jump out of the way. It's kind of the 2 options there. All right, let's go back up to those 2 guys. Speaking of them, Thraken, nothing else needs done in this area. They just need to get down there to that double wide hallway. And Guy rolling 3, 1, 2, 3, is not the way to do that. All right, Hogard. I'm gonna leave him behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then finally, Anora. We can move the camera here a little bit more towards what we're going. Secret doors or walk? He's walking. Now, Hogard is coming, so it's kind of a weird situation as far as what's she going to do about those traps. Now, pass-through rock would allow her to step through them without having to worry about it. What about Veil of Mist? Veil of Mist does not count towards traps. So she could pass through rock, which would let her walk through those without getting hurt. You know what? she's a wizard. She likes casting spells. Let's go ahead and do that. I mean, there's really no reason for her to not use something at her disposal to not get hit. She's gonna use Pass Through Rock, which allows her, just for this turn, to move through monsters, traps, and walls. However, moving through walls is particularly dangerous, considering if she ends her turn in an area of solid stone, she's just dead. So we're not gonna risk that, but we are gonna let her walk through this trap. 1, 2, 3, 4. She can now see down this final hallway here. Let's go ahead and switch cameras for that. The other camera is gonna be able to see that hallway a lot better. Go. In this hallway we have a wall and nothing else at the moment. So is she gonna stop here and search for traps? No. Now, any player would note that there's nowhere else to go in this quest and there appears to be nothing down here. So I think we should also ask, is she gonna stop here and search for secret doors? She is. Smart. Although I argue that she probably should have searched for traps. There is indeed a secret door right here. Now that does mean that her turn is done. Pass Through Rock spell dissipates, but fairly well used spell. No monsters on the board, so we are now at Valerna, who does not have a Pass Through Rock spell and either needs to just forfeit this turn or try and walk through a spear trap. She's also down to 5 health, so I think probably the best option, honestly, we'll go ahead and just move her right here, but I don't think she should try to walk through that trap. She is a little bit too low on health for that sort of shenanigan. All right, Thraken the Barbarian is right here. See if he can roll better than a 3 this time. Oh, that's way better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Fantastic. He catches up. Now let's see if Hogard can also roll a 12 so he can get rid of one of those traps. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he can't make a 7th move because Thraken's in the way there. So not a huge amount of help. Finally, Anora, who is down there at the end of the hallway, adjust here, can start moving down that hallway. Are we searching for traps or moving? She is going to go ahead and search for traps. There aren't any, but you should always check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doesn't quite make it to the door, which is fine because she wouldn't have an action to do anything about what's in there anyway. No monsters on the board, so we are back to Valerna, who's just barely on camera. And again, as much as I hate to do this, I hate skipping turns, but it would be really dumb for her to intentionally harm herself when she's so low on health. I think we're just going to skip past her. Thraken, on the other hand, still has 7 body points. I don't think he's super worried about potentially taking one more. So, 1, 2, 3. He's just going to intentionally step on that trap. We're going to see if it hits him or not. It does not, so he's actually able to jump out of the way of that trap, and because this is a spear trap, that removes it from the game. He's also able to continue his movement unhindered. Let's see, how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Hogard was hurrying down here, but apparently he didn't need to. Now he's off camera at the moment, but he's about to not be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's just moseying on down. Excuse me. Anora, open this door and let's get to the end here. She is opening this door, and in this room we find yet another door, and right at the moment, nothing else. Is she gonna stop here and search for traps? No. Isn't this crazy, guys, how we're randomizing this stuff, and even though she has a 50-50 chance, and all these heroes have a 50-50 chance of searching for traps, throughout this entire quest, they have consistently chosen not to. It's weird that even though it's random, we're getting that level of consistency. She's walking into the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, and she steps on a trap. Okay, this, excuse me, is a falling boulder trap, which is something we haven't run into. before, and this is something that I did wrong for several years, so let me review what is supposed to happen here real fast so we make sure we do it right. Falling boulder trap. Stepping on a square that contains a falling boulder trap causes the ceiling to cave in. If a hero springs this trap, they must immediately roll 3 combat dice. For every skull rolled, the hero is hurt by the falling rocks and loses 1 body point. Zargon will then place the rubble tile on the square, and the hero is automatically moved forward 1 space, and their turn is now over. Ouch. That was real dumb, not searching for traps. So let's see what happens. 3 combat dice. She gets hit with 2. 1, 2, that drops her down to 6 body points. Also, this is now an impassable wall, and she gets shoved forward 1 space, and her turn is now over. You should always search for traps. Players of Hero Quest or people that intend on going to buy one, you should always search for traps. No monsters on the board, so we are back to Valerna, who is going to be coming closer and closer to being on camera here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now every relevant square has been stepped on, and they know that the one is trapped but that the others aren't, although she's going to have to walk around it. So is she going to stop and search for traps? Yes. There are no other traps in this room other than the one that got stepped on. Thraken. Moving 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We doing secret doors or treasure? Secret doors. There are no secret doors in this room. Hogard. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he can't make his 7th move because Valerna, darn it, is standing in the way. And Anora, who has got to be feeling rather dumb right now. Are we searching for treasure or opening that door? She's opening the door. Too ashamed to search. She opens the door up into this blue and black room. We find another door, a bookshelf. This is actually the alternate sculpt of the bookshelf that came with the Mage of the Mirror expansion. This is a really neat, kind of like the curvy woodwork. That's blocking our, let's actually turn this wall around because that skeleton guy's kind of blocking the bookshelf. There we go. And also a couple of monsters. Now these are also variants of goblins that we're seeing in here. There is one ocean goblin, looks like this, blue-skinned monsters that were raised in or around bodies of water. These guys sacrifice a little bit of attack to have a lot of movement. So we often find them in hallways where they can run at the heroes real fast. And then also we have a swamp goblin. Here we go. And this is cool because this particular mini was literally painted earlier today. So here's a swamp goblin. Oh, if the camera would focus, that'd be really nice. Now these guys are partially blind, obviously raised in the dark, thick forested swamps. Their attacks are much more wild, making their attacks way worse. What did we sacrifice on these guys? I think some defense once we start getting higher up on the difficulty chart. So a couple of fancy goblins in here. Anora has done nothing other than open the door, so she still has both her actions. Is she gonna stop and search for traps? No, she is just aggressively not learning her lesson. So she's running in here to attack these monsters, presumably. Is she going for one in particular? She's gonna run right in the middle of them, luckily stepping on no traps, and she's gonna attack that ocean goblin. Swinging her wooden staff. She hits the goblin with a critical hit of 2, and I believe that that is also a skilled strike because the ocean goblins, if I can find them, yes, only have 1 defense dice and 1 body point. So that guy is super dead. Poor ocean goblin didn't even get a chance to blink before he was taken right back off the board. All right, monster's turn. We've got that swamp goblin that's standing right there next to Anora. And I'll be honest, she took out the wrong guy. The swamp goblins have higher attack than normal. So this swamp goblin swings its dagger at her. and hits her with a critical hit of 3. Ouch. She attempts to defend and doesn't roll a single shield, taking all 3 points. 1, 2, 3. That drops her to 3 body points. She is not doing very good. Will we have a death in the very first quest? Let's hope not. Alright guys, we need to get up there. Let's find out how concerned Valerna is to getting up there to her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, yeah, she didn't even roll enough to get in there. She's still in this brownish yellow room. She might as well search for treasure. Let's hope it's not a wandering monster. What does she find? Make sure there's nothing special. You notice an odd patch of dirt in the floor in the corner of the room. After a small amount of digging, you find a satchel containing 50 gold coins. They're getting really lucky with the gold coin treasure searches too. That brings us up to 350. There are only a set amount of gold coins in that treasure deck before we start running into bad stuff. So let's hope we're not just getting all the good stuff out of the way early. Alright, Thraken should be able to get up there to help. Is he going to stop and search for traps first, though? Nope, he is also just recklessly running in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Luckily, not stepping on anything. Swings his broadsword at the Swamp Goblin, hitting it with a 1. And it does not defend. Awesome. Hogard's fallen behind the group. Get up there, buddy. What are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, is he going to stop right here and search? Okay. This guy fell in a pit trap right at the beginning of the quest. One might say he has potentially learned his lesson. There are no traps in this room, but you should always search. Honora, secret doors, treasure, or leave? She's leaving. 1. Opening the door to our second to last room, she finds the final door of the quest. No furniture, but a couple more monsters. We have, first off, the last of the variants of goblins. Now, this guy is not painted yet, but what she has just found is a deep goblin. This goblin, raised in the near pitch black, deepest caverns of the mountains, is essentially blind, but has a very, very wicked attack because you have to hit hard if you're going to survive down in the deepest caverns. Not very fast, these guys, but you do not want to get hit by them. However, if that sounds bad, that is nothing compared to the monster standing right next to him, which is the first appearance of a Dread Warrior. Now, these are some of Zargon's stronger monsters. These are big armored guys with a big shield and a big mace. These are definitely not the type of guy that you run into, and he is guarding that door. And Honora has apparently elected to try and fight one. Now, I think we all know the answer to this question, but she still has her second action left. Is she gonna search this room for traps before she walks into it? Oh my gosh. For once, she has searched for traps. And there are none, but the effort was there. Unfortunately, it's the monster's turn, which means one of those bad news monsters is coming for her. Which one is it going to be? It's the Dread Warrior. 1, 2, 3. This is particularly bad news, folks. Don't forget she has got 3 body points. Don't forget she has got 3 body points. Uses 4 dice to attack. Let's see what he hits. He swings his mace and hits her with 3. Okay. She's got to get at least 1 white shield or she is dead. And nobody has got anything that they can do about this. What's going to happen? No, she's dead. She is dead. She did not defend. 1, 2, 3. She is gone. And now normally we might lay her there for the sake of another hero being able to heal her. Hogard does have potions of healing, but that will not help her. Now, if she had had one of those potions, it would have saved her, but they do not have anything. So what happens when a hero dies, and let's be honest, if a hero's going to die, the very first ever quest is kind of the time to do it. We remove them, and we put the equipment tile there, and this just represents everything that she's got on her, which isn't much. Her staff, the rusty armor, and her share of the gold that they've all found at the moment. Wow, I can't believe we had a death in the very first ever quest. That is pretty wild. So we want one of the heroes to get over there and pick up that equipment so that at least they can sell her stuff or do something with it. All right. Wow, Valerna. Now she can get up there. She is definitely not the best option to be the one fighting that Dread Warrior, though. That should definitely be Thraken. So she doesn't have to stop on that square to pick up the stuff, but she didn't roll enough to get up there to it anyway. So 1, 2, 3. She's just kind of here in support of whatever's going to happen. And we now have Thraken. Now this room, does need to be searched for stuff, but I think a dead hero is going to kind of take precedence. I think they all understand that they need to do something about this. 1, 2, 3. So he's going to pick up her equipment tile. So essentially all he's really picking up is her share of the gold and the wooden staff she had. So they'll be able to sell that for some extra gold at the end here. And none of that counts as an action other than the movement, so he can still attack. He swings his broadsword at the Dread Warrior. Missing. It's all going wrong right at the end, guys. Hogard, right at the moment, can't do anything. However, I do believe that he's going to pass some of his potions of healing. Now remember, heroes can pass items between each other as long as they are adjacent to each other, and neither hero is adjacent to a monster. So he can't give any potions to Thraken, but he can pass 2 of his potions off to Valerna, which is good because she's pretty low on health. So we're going to have him pass 2 potions of healing over to her. Switch those from his sheet to hers. So he at least did something useful there on his turn. Now, the other thing we can do when a hero dies in a quest is we can go ahead and draw a random one of our other heroes to come in and help these guys finish, which we are going to do, although it is possible, because we're at the end of the quest, that this new hero will not get over there in time. So let's see what hero is going to come in and help these guys complete the quest. The 9 of diamonds represents, Paya the monk. Where is she at? She's right in the front. Here we go. So, over here, Paya is actually going to enter on the staircase. Let's go ahead and get her, her stuff's right here on the top. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the spells that Honora had. Darn it, I liked her name. Well, we're going to have to come up with a new wizard name now. And the only thing that Paya has, she's got what's called monk elements, which give her some special skills that are kind of similar to spells. Here we go. Now she has, I think, 8 of them, but she can really only use 4 per quest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's one more that we're not seeing. I'm kind of hurrying through this because, again, there's not really any guarantee she's even going to make it over to them in time to make a difference. Which one are we missing? The other fire one, I believe. Burning Spirit. Yeah. Okay, now I would cover what these do if she weren't entering at the last minute. So let's go ahead and get her moving. Not very fast, but moving nonetheless. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's review the path. We moved her off camera. Whoops. What path does she need to take? She needs to go up through the blue room, up through the wooden room. Yeah, she's got a long way to walk to get to them, but we're gonna make it happen. Back over here, the Dread Warrior attacks Thraken, swinging its mace. It hits him with only 1. Gosh, why couldn't he have hit Honora like that? He still doesn't defend, though. Now, he's still got 6 body points, but this is still kind of a scary situation here. Valerna. She could cast Veil of Mist. Okay, first things first, let's have her drink one of these potions of healing. When a hero drinks a potion, it goes into the treasure discard pile so that they can potentially find it again. We erase it off her sheet, and she heals 1, 2, 3, 4, putting her back up to 9 body points, which has her in good shape. Using a potion is not an action, so she is going to cast her Veil of Mist spell. Looks like this. This spell may be cast on any one hero, including yourself. On your next move, they may move unseen through spaces that are occupied by monsters. Casting the spell does not count as an action. That's something that I changed there at the end to make the spell a little more useful. This is literally the first time in years I have used that spell. So she's going to be able to move into that room so that they can help chip this guy down. 1, 2, 3. There she goes. And because casting that spell was not an action, she can attack on this turn, swinging her short sword at the Dread Warrior. She hits it with 1. Now, rather unfortunately, these guys also have very good defense. So let's see if it defends. It does. Gosh. Okay, Thraken swings his broadsword at the Dread Warrior, hitting it with a 2 this time. Good. It attempts to defend. Defends both. Gosh. Oh, wow. I thought we were going to be done within a few minutes here. I thought they were going to kind of rocket through the rest of this, but apparently not. They're struggling hard, and there is nothing else he can do right at the moment. He can go ahead and search. He can search the room he's standing in for secret doors, just so that we're using that second action. There aren't any, but he can use it for something. Hogard, let's see, he's still got these potions. He can't pass it to Thraken because he's standing next to the Dread Warrior. He could throw his hand axe, but then it would be gone, so that's not really too much of a help. I'd say he's pretty much just moral support. He'll be ready to step in if Thraken starts getting too hurt. That's kind of how we'll use that. Okay, and then Paya. You know what? I think one of her things allows her to move quicker. Or am I wrong? I feel like there's one of her things allows her to go faster. Nope. Okay, I'm wrong. All right, regular movement. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's moving. She's moving slow, but she's moving. Monster's turn. Now, if there's one bad thing about Valerna moving in there, it is that the Deep Goblin has now gotten access to be able to get to her. So Deep Goblin doesn't move very fast, but can get to her and attacks. Hitting her with 1. Good. I was worried it was going to be worse than that. But she doesn't block it. Wow. Get rid of some of my black shield dice here. There we go. Okay, and then of course we have the Dread Warrior attacking Thraken. Swinging his mace, he hits Thraken with a 2. Thraken doesn't defend either one of them. Wow, the dice have turned against our heroes. Thraken is now down to 4. It may be a good idea for him to move out of the way after this next turn. Okay, we've got kind of a conundrum here for Valerna. Is she going to try and take out this Deep Goblin real fast, or is she going to try and chip damage that the Dread Warrior? Honestly, I think it would probably be smarter to take out the Deep Goblin. Just get rid of the extra annoyance. She swings her short sword at the Goblin, hitting it with a 1. And it does not defend. Good. She kills that guy. I'll be honest, I was really expecting him to defend that attack against all odds. And she can go ahead and search for secret doors in this room. Again, there are none. Just using up the other actions. Okay, Thraken. Attacking that Dread Warrior. Swings his broadsword. Hits with a 1. And it blocks. Gosh, it would have blocked a 3 right there. They haven't gotten a single skull of damage on this guy yet. Okay, I think it would be a good idea for him to move aside, because that Dread Warrior could take him out. So we're going to go ahead and move him back 1. Now, Hogard doesn't have as good of attack, but he does have better defense. So let's go ahead and move him into place. Plus, he's got potions to save himself if he's getting low on health. So he swings his hand axe at the Dread Warrior, hitting it with a critical hit of 2. Good job, man. And the Dread Warrior does not defend either. Finally, somebody gets some damage on this guy. Still doesn't kill him. These guys have 3 body points, but we finally got damage on the board. Good. Paya is moving slowly but surely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's still in camera? Kinda. We'll keep this camera locked on whatever she's doing. Will she get to them in time to contribute? Remains to be seen. All right, good old Dread Warrior now has 2 options to attack. Who is he gonna attack? Okay, he is gonna go for Hogard. Swings his mace at the dwarf, hitting him with a 1. That's good. That's defendable. Hogard has better defense than everybody else, and he does indeed defend it. Okay, maybe the tides have turned back in our favor. So right back to the hero's turn. Valerna doesn't have any tricks up her sleeve. All she's got is a short sword, which she is swinging now, hitting the guy with a 1. This could be the killing blow, but he blocked. All right. Thraken is now the one who can't really do anything. He doesn't even have anything to throw. So unfortunately, oh, you know what? He can search this blue room for treasure. Let's all hope and pray it's not a wandering monster, but they can get this out of the way. What does he find? You find a strange sack lying on the floor near the door of the room. Inside is 15 gold coins. That's kind of a nice change of pace. Puts us up to 365. All right, Hogard swings his short sword, hitting the Dread Warrior with a 1. It defends. This battle was not meant to be this difficult. This is kind of wild. Okay, and Paya moving right along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dread Warrior, who's he hitting? He's gonna stay on Hogard. He swings his mace, hitting with a 1. Good, again, that's blockable. But he doesn't. Hogard takes a point of damage. He's still got a good amount of health. He's still at 7, so he's doing fine. All right. Valerna, try and take this guy out. She swings her short sword, hitting him with a 1. He attempts to defend, and doesn't. All right, Valerna, taking that guy out. Boy, that was something, let me tell you. And that wasn't even the boss of this quest. Woo! Okay, so she might as well search for treasure then in the yellow room. Let's see what she finds. Oh, searching the remains of a dead orc in the room, you find 15 gold coins in a sack tied to its belt. They are just finding all sorts of money. 380. Thraken. May not be a bad idea for him to just stand there and take a potion of healing from Hogard. It's got to be Hogard's turn to do that, which means Thraken needs to sacrifice his turn. Yeah, that's not the best, but he's really low, and they don't know what's in that last room. You could probably argue that because I do know what's in that last room, it's a little unfair of me. Maybe we ought to card this. Okay, it is maybe a little unfair of me because I know what's in that last room. Red, he stays. Black, he goes ahead and moves. Okay. Maybe we're gonna have 2 dead heroes on this quest. 1, 2, 3, 4. Luckily, he didn't make it to the door. All right, Hogard. 1, 2. Can we hand him a potion? Let's hand a potion over. I think there's precedent, right? There's precedent for him stopping there, even though, again, you could argue it's maybe because I know what's in that last room. But Hogard did just watch one of his companions die that if he had handed a potion off would have saved her. So there's precedent, I think. And Paya moves. Good, a nice big one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm quite sure she's off camera now, yeah. Get that camera, she's just about to them, which is good. No monsters on the board at the moment, but that is about to change. Valirna is going to open our final door. 1, 2. And this is, as I mentioned before, the final room of the quest. So this is it. And then we will be done for the night. In this room, we have a carpet in the corner. We have an altar, which looks like this. A book and a couple of candles. And we have the boss of the quest, Zoriana, wretched crone of the dread flame. I believe she's got a little bit of dialogue here. As soon as the heroes enter the room, she screams, "If I'm going to die here, I shall take you all with me in flames." And she does indeed have some fire spells. Is Valirna going to search this room for traps before she walks in? She is. This has clearly made all these heroes a little bit more cautious. There's no traps in there. Thraken is going to go ahead and drink the potion he was just handed so that he can run in there. Healing him 1, 2, 3, 4, bringing him back up to 8 body points. Oh yeah, we don't even need to roll to get him in there. 1, 2. He swings his broadsword. Good, hitting her with a critical hit of 3. Maybe we'll just knock her right out of here. She attempts to defend and doesn't. She takes all 3 body points. Now that doesn't actually kill her, but it comes pretty close. It's as weird as it is, it's a refreshing change after the Dread Warrior, totally honestly. Can Hogard finish her off before she even gets an attack in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He swings his hand axe. Hitting her with a 1, this could indeed be the killing blow. She's got to get a black shield to live. She does, okay. I was gonna say, I would have had mixed feelings. I'd be glad that they did it, but also a little disappointed that she didn't pose a threat at all. Paya, time is running out for her to actually get there. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She definitely did not do a meaningful movement that turn. Okay, Zoriana. Now she has the same options as the heroes as far as 2 actions. She can move, she can attack, and certain ones can cast spells. She is one who can cast a spell, and I see no reason why she wouldn't here in this case. In fact, she can physically attack and cast a spell. So first off, she is going to cast the Ball of Flame spell, fairly unsurprisingly here. Is she going to cast this at Thraken or Hogard? She's going for Thraken. The way this spell works is that a ball of flame erupts from her fingertips and hits Thraken there. He's got to roll a couple of movement dice to see if he shakes any of the effects of the spell off. He does. So if you roll a 5 or a 6, you get to take 1 damage point off. So he takes 1 damage from this. Could have been way worse. She's also going to do a physical attack, which, who's she going to hit? Now she's actually going to aim this one at Hogard. And she's not a very strong attacker. She hits him with a 1. Which he doesn't defend, okay. Here I am kind of putting her attack ability down, but no, you know what, she did a good job there. Okay, and finally we are back. This is probably the last turn here, because let's be honest, between the 3 of them, they're probably going to take her out, right? 1, 2, 3. Valirna swings her short sword. at Zoriana, hitting her with a 1, which she does block. She's holding on. She's holding on. She's surrounded, though. Thraken swings his broadsword, but misses. Wow, the plot thickens. He's going to go ahead and use his other action to search this room for secret doors, confirming that there are none. And finally, Hogard swings his hand axe. Is he going to be the killing blow? 1, or is she going to hold on for another turn? She holds on. Wow, okay, that's what I get for saying, let's be honest, they're probably going to kill her. Clearly I was wrong. Paya continues to move towards the heroes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we moved her off camera again. There she is. Zoriana gets another turn where she gets to cast a spell and physically attack both. Let's go ahead and do the physical attack first. She's got 3 potential targets now. She, this time, is going to aim her physical attack at Thraken, hitting him with a 1, which he does defend. She's also going to cast a spell, which, again, is Ball of Flame. Now, who's she aiming this one at? She is actually going to aim this one at Hogard. So, a Ball of Flame erupts from her fingertips and engulfs Hogard. He attempts to ward off the flames and is unsuccessful, taking 2 body points of damage. This brings him down to 4 body points. Okay, we got another whole turn of you guys surrounding her. Surely this is it, right? All right, Valyria swings a short sword and misses. Oh my gosh. Here I was worried that Zoriana was going to be a pushover. Thraken swings his broadsword, hitting her with 1. Guys, you gotta roll better than 1s. And she defends it. Hogard swings his hand axe and misses. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so frustrating. Paya continues to move. She's gonna walk in here and deal the killing blow, isn't she? After all this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is she on the other camera yet? Yes, she is. Okay. Oh, this is wild. Okay, Zoriana only has 1 more Ball of Flame spell because she's not meant to last this many turns. Okay, physical attack first. Who's she going for? She's actually going to aim this one at Valyria. She's doing a good job of spreading her attacks around. She hits Valyria with a 1, and it's not defended. She's down to 7. She's still doing good. Her Ball of Flame, her last Ball of Flame spell is going to be aimed also at Valyria. A huge fireball erupts from Zoriana's fingertips and engulfs Valyria. She attempts to shake off the spells of the flames, and she is partially successful, only taking 1 body point of damage, taking her down to 6 points. Can we please kill this boss? We got 3 heroes all attacking. Starting with Valyria, who swings her short sword. With a critical hit of 2, this is surely it. No way! You guys are seeing this, right? 2 black shields. Blocked them both. Oh, I don't even know what to say. Okay, Thraken swings his broadsword. Also hitting her with 2. No way she defends 2 twice. Okay, she blocked 1, but not the other, which means she is indeed dead. Oh my gosh. This has been a wild way to start out Midnight Quest, people. This quest I have played quite a few times, and it has never gone like this. This is interesting. Okay, one last thing before we're done with the main part of the quest here. Thraken can use his other action to search this room for treasure. Let me make sure. The first hero to search for treasure in this room will find a helmet exactly like the one described in the armory. So we can go ahead and stick that on his head, which gives him an extra defense dice, which means next time he goes on a quest, he'll be swinging 3 instead of 2. Oh, wow. Okay. So Paya didn't quite make it there, but she theoretically had an effect on the quest. This is the what we normally do if a hero dies, is we send a 4th hero in there to help. It's just that usually we're not clear at the end of the quest when that happens, so we don't have the mad dash there. Okay, we've got a few things to do before we go ahead and end the stream. First off, we have a conclusion, because this was kind of the introduction quest. This quest was not part of the 14 books, so this was just an introduction to the whole series. Whenever a book ends, or in this case, when the introduction quest ends, we have a little conclusion to read. And this one's not very long. This again is from Mentor. Today, you have proven that all it takes for evil to falter, for the machine of wickedness to grind to a halt, is a few good adventurers who are ready to rise to the challenge. Through your strength and courage, a spark of hope still exists in these dark times. Together, we can save this world from destruction at the hands of the evil sorcerer Zargon, and I shall offer my wisdom and guidance as you begin that noble quest. Awesome. Cleanup stuff. We've got a couple things here to do. We need to talk about skill sets. Now, I mentioned this earlier, that I introduced a skill set leveling system that allows you to customize the heroes a little bit. Now, the 4 heroes that go on the quest get 2 skill set points that they have to spend immediately on, there are 6 skill set categories, and they can put those points wherever they want. The different classes of heroes benefit from the points in different ways. Now, obviously, Honora does not get any because she's dead. I'm going to say Paya shouldn't get any either. All she did was walk. She didn't throw a punch or anything. So I'm going to say Paya shouldn't get points either. So let's take a look at the 3 heroes who survived this quest and see what they get. Now, also, for completing quests, Mentor awards each of the surviving heroes 50 coins. So again, Paya didn't have any meaningful effect on this quest. Let's not count her in that. The heroes are going to get 150 coins for completing this quest. And that, let's see, that's definitely not easy. That's going to be 530, yes. Puts us up to 530 coins total. And then our skill sets. Now, I've got a set of papers here that tell me what each hero gets with their points. We're also going to randomly allocate these. Now, if there were players playing, I would let them put these points wherever they want, but I'm going to go ahead and randomize this. So Valyria, who ultimately did pretty good with this quest. I'll be honest, at first I was a little worried that she wasn't really contributing all that much, but at the end, she did it. Who landed the killing blow there? That was Thraken, right? Thraken was the one who finally landed the killing blow? Yeah, we're going to mark that on his paper too. She is going to put a point into magic memorization. So she's going to go to magic memorization level 1. I don't think that's anything. That's not anything yet, but putting points into magic memorization allows the characters to increase the amount of spells that they bring into quests, and also will eventually allow them to pick spells by name rather than having the random spells. So they get more and more of the ones they want. Her second point is going to go into magic skill. Magic skill 1 is also probably nothing for an elf. That is correct. Magic skill allows the heroes to access the different systems of spells. So the original Hero Quest spells are only tier 1. I've added in a tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. We also have put in specialty sets, which are the spells of detection, spells of protection, and spells of darkness that Hero Quest introduced in one of the later expansions. So she didn't get any specific benefit yet, but she is well on her way. Let's also erase that rusty armor. They're only allowed to use that on the very first quest. After that, they gotta buy stuff. Okay, Thraken. We're gonna mark at the top of his sheet that he was the one who killed Zoriana. So we'll have kind of a list of accomplishments on these heroes' sheets. He did really good. I think he took the least damage out of everybody, which is saying something because everybody got beat up pretty bad. I don't know. Hogard might have actually taken the least. It's hard to say. But again, he did really good on this quest. Let's see where he's putting his points. Point number 1 is going to go to education. Now, education increases their mind points. This is a thing that we didn't really touch on much in the quest. The mind points represents how smart the heroes are, and is practically used in the game for them being able to throw off the effects of spells that try to control them or put them to sleep or anything like that. Barbarians, not necessarily the smartest class of hero, so any education he gets is good. Now, he doesn't directly benefit from this yet, but he will at future levels. His second point is going to go into Constitution. Constitution level 1 is also nothing. However, this is, simply put, how they increase the maximum amount of health they have. So heroes can get up to a maximum of 15 body points. And I know that Constitution 2 is an extra body point. So again, he's close to a benefit on that one. Okay, and finally Hogard. Again, did pretty good for his first ever quest. Picking up that shield at the beginning really did him a lot of good. It allowed him to defend and step in to finish off that Dread Warrior when everybody else was struggling with it. He was also the one who found all those potions of healing, which really came in handy. Let's see where his go to. His first one is going to be Constitution 1, which reacts the same way as Thraken's did. Nothing, but it will increase his health eventually. And his second point is going to be Magic Skill. So all the heroes have the same access to all 6, but certain heroes, if they're not a class that normally has a lot of magic, struggle to get anything in those. So for a dwarf, Magic Skill and Magic Memorization yield a lot less than some of the other classes, but they can still get some good stuff. There's never no reason to build. So unfortunately, none of them get a direct benefit from the point spending this time, but as we continue to do more quests, we will see bigger and better benefits. Okay, that does us for tonight, everybody. Now, I'll admit this stream was probably a little bit longer than the streams normally will be because we had a lot of stuff at the beginning to talk about that we won't normally. We won't have to go into a bunch of lore or extra stuff or anything like that normally. Normally, we can start the stream and immediately jump right into playing quests. So, tomorrow, which is Sunday night, there will be a painting stream. So again, if you're interested in watching some of these miniatures get painted and also contributing to how these miniatures look, how they come together, any and all ideas are appreciated, both on the mechanics of the game and in the painting. So please feel free to jump in on chats. If you're watching this later when it's not live, we'd love to have you in here contributing ideas and just kind of hanging out and chatting while this happens. So tomorrow, painting stream. But on Monday, we will be starting officially the first quest of Book 1. We'll be randomizing heroes. We will, by the way, have a new wizard hero. It won't be a Nora, clearly, but it'll be a different wizard miniature, with a different name that hopefully won't just die immediately. That's wild. Sometimes we go through and never have heroes die. I'll tell you, I was playing this with a friend for a long time that might do some guest appearances on this show later on, and he has played through almost all 14 books, and he didn't have a single hero die until book 8, I think, which for HeroQuest fans is Frozen Horror, so you'll probably understand why that's the first place. So it's kind of wild for us to have a hero die in the first quest, but it is good TV, right? There's definitely some action and some suspense going on there. Okay, well, I want to thank you all for tuning in, whether this is live or whether you're watching it later. Every second of time that you spend hanging out here or watching this stuff is super, super appreciated. I hope you enjoy what you saw, and I hope you're looking forward to more, because boy, do we have plenty, plenty more. We will catch you guys next time on Midnight Quest.